Before you scroll, stop. I am speaking directly to you right now. Within the next few moments, something in your spirit will begin to shift, because this message was not found by accident. I guided your eyes here. My child, stop for a moment and listen carefully to me. Do not let distractions steal this moment away from you, because what is happening right now was arranged by my hand long before you reached this exact second. You think you simply clicked on another message, another video, another voice among many voices. But I tell you now with all authority from heaven, this was not random. I guided you here because your soul has been crying out to me in ways even you do not fully understand. I heard the silent prayers you whispered while nobody was watching. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly because you did not want anyone asking questions. I watched you carry burdens that became so heavy you no longer knew how to explain them to people around you. And now I have interrupted your day because I refuse to remain silent while your heart continues fighting battles alone. I know there were moments recently when you almost gave up completely. I know there were nights when exhaustion sat on your chest so heavily that even resting could not remove the pain inside you. You smiled in front of others while secretly wondering how much longer you could keep pretending to be strong. But my beloved child, I was there through every second of it. I never turned my face away from you. Even in moments when you doubted my presence, I was still working quietly around your life, moving things you could not yet see, protecting you from dangers you never knew existed, and preparing this exact moment where my voice would finally break through the noise surrounding your mind. Do not rush away from these words. Stay here with me. Let your spirit become still enough to hear what heaven has been trying to tell you. You have asked me for signs. You have begged me for answers. You have wondered why life suddenly changed direction without warning. You question why certain doors closed so painfully and why certain people disappeared from your life without explanation. You called some seasons failure, but I call them protection. You called some endings abandonment, but I call them rescue. There were places you wanted to enter that would have destroyed your peace. There were relationships you begged me to preserve that secretly carried poison against your destiny. There were opportunities that looked beautiful from the outside but contained hidden sorrow waiting behind them. And because I love you more deeply than you understand, I shut those doors with my own hand. I know it confused you. I know it hurt you. I know there were moments you sat alone asking why everything seemed to collapse at once. But I need you to hear me clearly now. Nothing that happened was outside of my control. While you were grieving closed doors, I was already building a new path ahead of you. While you were mourning what ended, I was protecting the future you cannot yet see. You thought life was falling apart, but truly, I was rearranging everything for your rescue. My precious child, there is a reason your spirit feels restless lately. There is a reason things around you no longer feel the same. I have been shaking what cannot remain so that what truly belongs in your life can finally appear. Some people had to leave because they could not follow where I am taking you. Some situations had to break because they were keeping you trapped in old versions of yourself. I saw how you settled for less because you feared losing what was familiar. I saw how you tolerated pain because at least pain felt predictable. But I did not create you to remain trapped inside survival mode forever. I created you for freedom, peace, purpose, and deep healing. And that healing begins now, here in this moment, while you are listening to my voice. I need you to stop seeing yourself through the lens of disappointment. Stop measuring your worth by the prayers that have not yet been answered. Stop believing the lie that your delays mean you were forgotten. I have never forgotten you for a single second. Every detail of your life remains in my hands even when circumstances seem confusing. Every tear you cried was seen by heaven. Every silent breakdown was witnessed by me. Every time you felt abandoned, I was closer than your own breath, carrying you through moments that should have destroyed you completely. Listen to me carefully now, because what I say next matters deeply. The enemy has been trying to exhaust you mentally and emotionally because he fears the season you are about to enter. There is something ahead of you that carries breakthrough, healing, restoration, and purpose beyond what you currently understand. And because darkness cannot stop what I have spoken over your life, it has tried instead to discourage you into quitting before you arrive there. That heaviness you felt was not weakness. That confusion was not your identity. Those constant battles in your thoughts were not random attacks. There has been warfare around your destiny because heaven knows what is coming next for you. But I declare over your life right now that the season of endless confusion is breaking. The cycle of despair is ending. The constant fear that something bad is about to happen will no longer control your mind. I am pulling you out of survival mode and teaching your spirit how to breathe again. I am restoring parts of you that pain tried to bury. I am waking up dreams you stopped talking about because disappointment made them feel impossible. I am reminding you who you truly are beneath the exhaustion, beneath the fear, beneath the heartbreak. You are still mine. You are still chosen. You are still deeply loved by heaven. Do not ignore this moment, my child. I know the world taught you to scroll quickly past things that touch your spirit. I know you are used to distraction. But this message is different because I am speaking directly into places inside you that nobody else fully understands. I know the hidden fears you carry about your future. I know the questions you have about finances, relationships, purpose, and direction. I know how tired you are of pretending everything is fine when inside you feel overwhelmed. But today I need you to stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. Stop punishing yourself for not having every answer yet. Stop believing you must fix your entire life alone before I can move. I am already moving. Even now, while you listen to these words, things are shifting in ways you cannot yet see. Doors are aligning. Protection is surrounding you. Certain battles are ending quietly behind the scenes. The breakthrough you prayed for has not disappeared. It has simply been waiting for the right moment to arrive. And my timing, though difficult to understand, has never failed you. Type I hear your voice. Lord, if His Spirit is speaking even now, there is a reason I would not allow you to scroll past this today. I needed your attention because your story is changing right now. Not someday far away. Not years from now. Now, I am rewriting the parts of your life that pain tried to define forever. I am healing wounds you thought would always ache. I am restoring hope where disappointment built walls around your heart. And most importantly, I am reminding you that you are not walking through this season alone. Heaven is still involved in your life. I am still guiding your steps. I am still opening doors no person can shut. The closed doors behind you were necessary, but the open door ahead of you carries something far greater than what you lost. So breathe again, my beloved child. Lift your head again. Trust me again. Because I did not bring you this far just to abandon you now. I guided you here for a reason, and before this season ends, you will finally understand why everything had to happen the way it did. My child, before you continue any further, I need you to understand something with absolute certainty. You are not here by coincidence. You did not accidentally arrive at this exact moment, hearing these exact words, while carrying these exact emotions in your heart. I guided you here. I arranged this encounter long before you even realized you needed it. While you believed you were simply moving through another ordinary day, heaven was already positioning you for this divine interruption. I know your mind has been full lately. I know there are questions circling endlessly inside your thoughts. You have tried to understand why things suddenly shifted around you. You have searched for explanations about why people changed, why opportunities disappeared, why certain prayers remained unanswered, and why your spirit has felt so tired even while you continued trying to stay strong. But my beloved child, what you could not see was me moving quietly beneath the surface of your life, arranging moments, redirecting paths, blocking dangers, and guiding your steps toward something far greater than you imagined. You saw confusion, but I saw protection. You saw delays, but I saw preparation. You saw silence, but I was speaking through circumstances the entire time. There were moments recently when your heart whispered, "God, where are you?" I heard those words even when they never left your lips. I know there were nights when you stared into darkness carrying fears you could not explain to anyone else. You wondered if I had forgotten about you because everything around you seemed uncertain at once. One moment you thought life was finally moving forward, and the next moment something collapsed unexpectedly. Relationships became distant. Plans changed without warning. Doors you expected to open suddenly shut in front of you. And because you could not see my hand immediately, you assumed perhaps I had stepped away. But I need you to hear me clearly now. I have never abandoned you for even 1 second. Not during your tears. Not during your confusion. Not during your moments of exhaustion. Not during the silent battles inside your mind. I remained with you through all of it, guiding you even while you struggled to recognize my presence. My precious child, you have underestimated how deeply involved I am in the details of your life. I do not merely watch you from a distance. I walk beside you through every moment, even the moments you call ordinary. I know every hidden fear you carry. I know every private disappointment. I know the memories that still hurt you when nobody else is around. I know the heartbreak you tried to move on from even though part of your spirit still aches from what happened. I know the exhaustion of trying to stay hopeful while life kept testing your patience again and again. But even in those moments when you felt weak, heaven never stopped moving around you. Angels were protecting you from things you never noticed. I was redirecting paths you thought you wanted because I could already see where those roads would lead. I was shielding your future even while you questioned why your present felt painful. There is a reason your spirit feels stirred right now while listening to these words. Deep inside, something recognizes my voice. Deep inside, your soul understands this moment carries truth. That is because I created your spirit to respond whenever I speak. And today I am speaking directly into the deepest places of your heart because you have wandered through confusion long enough. You have spent too much time believing you were forgotten. You have allowed disappointment to convince you that perhaps your life would never truly change. But I tell you now, your story is not ending in pain. Your story is not ending in confusion. What feels like an ending is actually the beginning of a complete rearrangement happening by my hand. I guided you here today because I need you to stop interpreting your life only through what your eyes can currently see. There are movements happening spiritually that your natural mind does not yet fully understand. Doors are shifting. Seasons are changing. battles are ending quietly behind the scenes. And while you thought nothing was happening, heaven has been preparing your next chapter carefully and intentionally. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. My beloved child, there is something else I must tell you honestly. Some of the pain you experienced recently came because you kept trying to hold on to places and people I was asking you to release. I saw how tightly you clung to things that no longer carried peace. I saw how fear of losing what was familiar made you ignore the warning signs I placed in your spirit. But because I love you too much to let your destiny be destroyed, I stepped in. Some doors closed because I closed them myself. Some conversations ended because I removed people who secretly carried confusion into your life. Some plans failed because they would have delayed the purpose I placed over you before you were even born. You mourned certain losses deeply because you did not understand why they happened, but later you will look back and realize those closed doors were actually acts of mercy. Had I allowed some things to continue, the pain ahead would have been far greater than the temporary heartbreak you experience now. I know there were moments when you almost stopped believing anything good could still happen for you. The weight became heavy. You became tired of hoping only to feel disappointed again. Sometimes you even questioned your own worth because repeated struggles made you wonder whether something was wrong with you. But my precious child, nothing about your life has been random punishment. You are not forgotten. You are not cursed. You are not abandoned. You are simply walking through a season where I have been separating you from things that cannot enter your future. And separation often feels painful before it reveals its purpose. You kept asking me for change. But true transformation always requires old things to break apart first. I cannot pour new life into hands still clinging tightly to what no longer belongs there. And because I see the future clearly while you can only see today, I have been preparing you carefully for what is coming next. There is a reason you survived things that should have broken you completely. There is a reason you kept getting back up even after moments when your spirit felt exhausted. There is a reason something inside you refused to fully give up no matter how hard life became. That reason is me. My hand has remained over your life even during your darkest moments. When you cried alone, I was there. When anxiety filled your chest, I was there. When confusion made your thoughts race endlessly, I was there. When disappointment made you question your future, I was still guiding your steps even while you struggled to trust me. You have not been carrying yourself through this season alone. I have carried you more times than you realize. There were moments when your strength ended completely, yet somehow you still made it through another day. That was not an accident. That was my presence holding you together while you felt like falling apart. Now listen carefully to me, because this part matters deeply. The enemy has been trying to convince you that your delays mean defeat. Darkness wanted you to believe closed doors meant rejection. Fear wanted you to assume silence meant abandonment. But the truth is completely different. I have been strategically guiding your life away from destruction and toward purpose. What looked like setbacks were often divine redirections. What looked like unanswered prayers were often hidden protection. What looked like isolation was often me removing distractions so you could finally hear my voice clearly again. I guided you here because your spirit needed reminding that heaven is still involved in your story. I needed you to remember that I still speak, still move, still protect, still heal, and still open impossible doors at the right time. My child, stop being afraid that your best days are behind you. Stop assuming your life will always feel this heavy. Stop believing the lie that you missed your moment. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too lost for me to restore. In fact, many things are only now beginning to align exactly as they were always meant to. I know you cannot fully see it yet, but this season is shifting. Your heart will heal again. Your mind will breathe again. Your spirit will feel peace again. And one day very soon, you will look back at this exact moment and realize it was the beginning of everything changing. That is why I would not allow you to scroll away. That is why I guided you here. Because before the breakthrough appears around you, I first needed to speak hope back into you. Before the new door opens fully, I needed your spirit to remember who walks beside you. And before your story changes outwardly, I needed you to hear my voice clearly one more time. You are still mine, and I am still leading you exactly where you need to be. My beloved child, I know there are still questions inside your heart about the doors that suddenly closed in your life. Even now, part of you still revisits certain memories, wondering what you could have done differently, wondering whether things might have turned out another way if only you had tried harder, waited longer, spoken differently, or held on tighter. But today I need you to stop carrying guilt for things I intentionally remove. Some doors closed because I closed them with my own hand. Some endings happened because I could see dangers ahead that you could not yet recognize. I know the pain felt personal. I know rejection wounded your heart deeply. I know you spent nights replaying conversations, trying to understand why people changed toward you without warning. But my child, not every closed door was punishment. Many were protection disguised as disappointment. You cried because you thought you were losing something valuable, while heaven rejoiced because you were escaping something that secretly carried destruction against your future. You must understand this clearly now. I see beyond appearances. Humans often judge situations only by emotions, temporary comfort, or visible opportunities, but I see the hidden outcome behind every path. I know which relationships carry peace and which ones slowly drain your spirit. I know which opportunities align with your purpose and which ones only appear attractive while secretly leading you into confusion, exhaustion, and spiritual emptiness. There were people you desperately wanted to keep in your life, but they were never assigned to walk beside you into the next season I prepared for you. Some carried jealousy hidden beneath fake support. Some carried emotional chaos that would eventually crush your peace. Others would have distracted you so deeply that you would slowly lose sight of who you truly are. And because I love you too much to allow your destiny to be destroyed quietly, I intervened before the damage became permanent. I know the separation hurt. I know you felt abandoned when certain people walked away so suddenly. One moment they spoke promises over your life, and the next moment they became strangers. You kept asking me why hearts changed so quickly. But my beloved child, when I begin preparing someone for a new season, not everyone can remain beside them. Some people only belong to one chapter, not the entire story. And when their assignment ends, I remove them even if your emotions still want them to stay. You thought losing them meant losing love, but often you were simply losing attachment to something temporary. Real love from me never destroys your peace, never pulls you away from purpose, and never leaves your spirit constantly confused. I saw how some relationships kept you emotionally trapped. I saw how your heart kept shrinking itself just to keep certain people comfortable. I watched you ignore your own pain because you feared being alone. But I never created you to beg for love while losing yourself in the process. So I closed doors you were too afraid to walk away from on your own. There were also opportunities you mourned deeply after they disappeared. Jobs you hoped would change everything. Plans you spent months preparing for. Dreams you imagined so clearly that when they failed, part of your spirit broke under disappointment. You asked me why I allowed those opportunities to collapse after you worked so hard. But my precious child, effort alone does not mean something belongs in your destiny. Some opportunities look beautiful from your perspective, while carrying hidden burdens you could not yet see. Some paths would have drained your health, damaged your peace, isolated your spirit, and distracted you from the deeper purpose I placed over your life. You saw the open door, but I saw the hidden storm waiting behind it. And because I protect my children even from dangers they do not recognize, I closed those doors before they could pull you further away from the life I truly designed for you. Right, you are the anchor through every storm if His presence steadies your life. You called certain seasons failure because nothing unfolded the way you expected. But heaven called those same seasons rescue. You thought everything was falling apart because you only saw what was leaving your life. Meanwhile, I was already preserving things you would thank me for later. Sometimes my protection feels painful before it reveals itself as mercy. Sometimes I save my children by removing what they insist on keeping. And I know this truth is difficult for your heart to fully accept because pain naturally makes humans focus on what was lost. But one day you will look back and understand why I refused to let certain doors remain open. One day clarity will arrive, and you will realize how close you came to paths that would have broken your spirit completely. What felt like rejection was often divine intervention. What felt like abandonment was often my hand pulling you away from destruction before it reached you fully. My child, there were moments you accused yourself harshly after things ended. You wondered whether you were simply not good enough, lovable enough, talented enough, were worthy enough. But stop speaking those lies over yourself now. Closed doors do not determine your value. Delayed opportunities do not define your identity. Human rejection cannot cancel what heaven has already spoken over your life. The enemy wanted you to internalize every ending as proof that something was wrong with you. Darkness wanted disappointment to become your identity. But I never called you rejected. I never called you forgotten. I never called you a failure. Those are names fear tried to place upon your spirit during vulnerable moments. And today I break those lies off your mind completely. You are still chosen. You are still loved deeply. You are still carrying purpose that nothing and nobody can destroy. I know you became tired after so many disappointments arrived close together. It felt like every time you tried rebuilding hope, another door suddenly slammed shut. Your spirit became cautious because repeated heartbreak made trusting difficult. You stopped expecting good things because disappointment trained your mind to prepare for loss instead. But my beloved child, your life is not stuck in permanent disappointment. This painful season was never your final destination. I have been removing what cannot follow you where I am taking you next. Some doors had to close because greater doors are already waiting ahead. But if old things remained open, you would never fully step into the new season prepared for you. Humans often cling tightly to familiar pain because unfamiliar freedom feels uncertain. Yet I am calling you into something greater than survival. I am calling you into healing, peace, purpose, and restoration. There is another truth I need you to hear carefully now. Some doors closed because you prayed for change without realizing how much transformation would actually cost. You asked me for peace, but peace required separation from chaos. You asked me for growth, but growth required leaving environments where your spirit stayed small. You asked me for healing, but healing required confronting wounds you tried avoiding for years. You asked me for purpose, but purpose required releasing distractions that constantly drain your focus. And because I answer sincere prayers, I began rearranging your life even when the process felt uncomfortable. Transformation often begins with loss before it reveals restoration. And while you mourned what disappeared, heaven was already preparing what would eventually replace it. Do not misunderstand this season, my child. The closed doors behind you are not proof that your future is empty. They are proof that I refuse to let you settle for less than what I designed for you. You kept trying to force your way into spaces where your spirit no longer belonged. You kept chasing acceptance from people who could never truly see your worth. You kept begging certain situations to survive long after peace already left them. But now I am teaching you something deeper. When I remove something from your life, trust that I see what you cannot see. Trust that my vision reaches beyond temporary emotions. Trust that even painful endings can become holy redirections when placed into my hands. My precious child, breathe deeply now and release what is already over. Stop standing in front of doors I already closed. Stop replaying moments I already removed from your path. Stop grieving things that were never meant to carry you into your future. I know letting go feels painful, but holding on to dead things only delays the healing waiting ahead of you. There is a new door already beginning to open quietly before you, but your hands must loosen their grip on yesterday before you can fully receive tomorrow. And when the right doors finally open, you will not need to force them. You will not need to beg. You will not need to shrink yourself just to remain welcome. What comes from me carries peace with it. What comes from me aligns naturally with your spirit. What comes from me will never require you to destroy yourself just to keep it alive. So trust me now, even if you still do not fully understand every ending. One day you will see clearly why certain doors had to close. One day your healed heart will thank me for prayers I refused to answer. One day you will recognize that what you lost was small compared to what I protected you from. And when that day comes, you will finally realize this truth completely. Every door that closed, I closed it because I love you too much to let your future be destroyed by things that only look good temporarily. My beloved child, there is something I must reveal to you now that you have not fully understood about the season you have been walking through. The exhaustion you felt was not only physical. The heaviness pressing against your thoughts was not simply stress. The confusion, the sudden fear, the emotional weight that seemed to appear without warning, the constant feeling that something was fighting against your peace, none of it was random. There has been a battle around your life that your natural eyes could not fully see. While you were trying to survive daily responsibilities, spiritual warfare was unfolding quietly around your destiny. The enemy recognized the calling placed upon your life long before you fully recognized it yourself. Darkness saw your future before you did, and because of that, attacks began forming against your mind, your confidence, your peace, your relationships, and your hope. The enemy's greatest desire was not simply to hurt you. His deeper goal was to convince you to quit before you stepped into the future heaven prepared for you. I know there were days when your thoughts became so heavy that you barely recognized yourself anymore. Anxiety crept into moments that once felt peaceful. Fear appeared suddenly even when nothing dangerous seemed to be happening around you. Your mind became tired from overthinking every detail of your life. Some nights you lay awake replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, wondering if everything around you was about to collapse completely. And because the battle was invisible, you often blamed yourself for struggling so deeply. You questioned your faith. You wondered why your spirit felt so exhausted even while you kept praying and trying to stay hopeful. But my precious child, there were spiritual attacks happening beneath the surface that you did not fully recognize. Darkness wanted to weaken your confidence slowly. The enemy wanted discouragement to become normal for you. Fear wanted to train your mind to expect disappointment before blessings could ever arrive. There were moments when the attacks became so intense that you almost gave up completely. You smiled outwardly while inwardly your spirit felt like it was drowning beneath pressure nobody else could fully understand. People around you saw you functioning normally, while secretly your soul was fighting to stay alive emotionally. And still, even in those moments when you felt abandoned, heaven never left your side. My angels surrounded you during nights you cried yourself to sleep. I fought battles for you that your human mind never even noticed. There were attacks planned against your future that never reached you because my hand blocked them before they arrived. There were situations designed to destroy your peace permanently, but I intervened quietly behind the scenes. The enemy wanted your story to end in hopelessness, but I declared life over you repeatedly even while you felt too weak to fight for yourself. My child, you must understand something important now. The enemy often attacks strongest when breakthrough is closest. Darkness does not waste energy fighting lives that carry no purpose. The reason your season became so emotionally intense is because something significant is ahead of you. There is healing waiting ahead. There is restoration waiting ahead. There are open doors waiting ahead. There are prayers already moving toward manifestation. And because the enemy could not stop what I've already planned for you, he attempted instead to exhaust your spirit before you arrived there. Fear became his weapon. Confusion became his weapon. Delay became his weapon. Isolation became his weapon. He wanted you emotionally drained enough to stop believing anything could still change. But despite everything you faced, you are still here listening to my voice right now. And that alone proves heaven has never stopped protecting you. I know there were moments when darkness whispered lies into your mind constantly. It told you that you would never heal. It told you your future would always feel this painful. It convinced you that you were too broken, too damaged, too exhausted to ever experience peace again. Sometimes the lies became so loud that you struggled separating fear from truth. But listen to me carefully now, my beloved child. Those thoughts were never your identity. Fear is not who you are. Anxiety is not who you are. Hopelessness is not who you are. You are still my child, deeply loved, deeply chosen, and deeply protected by heaven even during your weakest moments. The enemy attacked your mind because he feared what would happen once your spirit remembered who walks beside you. Darkness trembles whenever my children begin recognizing their authority again. And today I am awakening your spirit to the truth that you were never abandoned in this battle. There were also people unknowingly used against your peace. Conversations that left your spirit disturbed. Words that planted seeds of insecurity. Relationships that slowly drained your emotional strength instead of restoring it. Not everyone around you understood the spiritual pressure you were carrying. Some judged your exhaustion without recognizing the battle beneath it. Others unintentionally added confusion to your life because they themselves were lost internally. But even then, I remained close beside you. I know there were moments you felt misunderstood completely. Moments when you wished someone could simply see how hard you were fighting internally just to survive emotionally. And while humans often failed to understand your pain fully, I understood every detail perfectly. I never once misread your tears. I never once overlooked your silent cries for help. Comment you are holy and endlessly worthy, Lord, if he's captured your soul's adoration. And share this video.